Forward TV. The world is thinking.
Most of the victims who have sought the help of the Philippine consulate in Dubai were some of the lucky ones, able to escape from their pimps and recruiters. The victims experienced severe trauma, exploitation, and abuse while in the custody of these syndicates. 5 coffins a day land at the Manila International Airport. 3 contained the bodies of Filipino women who died or were killed elsewhere in the world. Battery, rape, and murder are the top occupational hazards for Filipinas who work overseas. So what circumstances have exposed these women to such danger and atrocities? Human trafficking, with an annual profit of $5 to $7 billion, is the 3rd largest and fastest growing criminal industry in the world today, after arms and drugs. Although sex trafficking, which involves sexual exploitation and prostitution or pornography, mail order brides, and commercial sexual abuse of children, is one of the most lucrative sectors of the trade in people, trafficking for labor exploitation is also increasing, and the conditions some women face are just as brutal. Reports have come in telling of Filipinas jumping from buildings, high-rise buildings, to escape the abusive practices of their employers, some of whom have treated them little more than animals, feeding them scraps of food, locking them in a room, and refusing payment for their work. Filipina domestic workers all over the Middle East, where the majority of them work, have taken to wearing multiple underwear when they sleep so that they can prevent employers or at least slow down the possible rape. In today's globalized world, where capital's relentless and ruthless pursuit for markets and profits have been glossed over by multinational corporations, dubious international bodies, and national governments, human trafficking has become our very own modern-day slavery. As many as 2 million women are trafficked across borders annually. Women are typically recruited with promises of good jobs in other countries, and lacking better options at home, they agree to migrate. Moreover, there is a high demand, especially for cheap, unskilled labor, as industries and multinational corporations try to cut costs, and women are seen as the employee of choice. More than half of the world's migrants now are women, many of whom are seeking economic alternatives to better their families' lives, all of whom are ripe to be victims of trafficking. Victims, typically aged 16 to 35, are often beaten and raped, have their passports confiscated, and are threatened with harm to themselves or their families if they try to escape. But the Philippine government, like a lot of other developing countries' governments, much like a pimp, continues to search the globe for countries to take its surplus labor. The number of Filipinos overseas are now 8.1 million in 194 countries. Indeed, the government has deployed a yearly average of 1 million people overseas. 75% of them are women. In fact, the Philippines is the world's top exporter of women. More than 64% of the Filipinos overseas are women. And the share of these workers' remittances to the gross national product has grown from nearly 8% in 2001 to 10% in 2005.